podcast starts now. Wow, 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 wow. What is up, everyone around the globe? From the USA to the west coast of the USA, my words are for you.
And let me be the first to say TGIF. And I know we've said this before, but it's actually impossible to feel the sense that it's a Friday unless it's Friday where you are, even if you're listening to your favorite podcast. But I still want everyone to try as hard as they possibly can, even if it's just a little corner of their brain that can just relax a little bit and pretend that you're about to go to a Friday happy hour.
Yeah. For you, you can say it's Tuesday, I'm in a bad mood. But Sam and George, well, they are having a Friday.
Yeah.
George, how is your Friday afternoon feeling?
I'd be lying if I said good.
Yeah, you kind of woke up on one. I woke up on I tried to take a nap today, and I was getting 17 text messages from you.
Well, sometimes I would say that I often text you instead of journaling, which I don't think is necessarily a good quality that I have. But sometimes I will maybe text you, 6 very angry things in a row, and I'll be like, oh, well, now I feel better. It's time to make a sandwich. And I'm like, now that's on you. Until you respond, you can sort of carry that weight. How does it feel to be on the receiving end of that? Well, and by the way, just for anyone listening, I'm not angry at Sam. There are things I'm angry about, and I figure, well, I'll punt them to Sam.
Well, I mean, in this political climate, how could he not be angry?
Listen, I wake up every day, and just like you, I read the New York Times morning briefing, and I'm fuming.
Well, for me, it felt like So I was trying to take a nap, and it was...
All right, we get it. You were trying to take a nap. I'm sorry I texted you.
And, I just hear buzz, 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 and I'm ignoring it because I'm really focused on my job.
Yeah.
And then there was a moment where I was like, okay, at this point, I'm getting like a lot of texts, and I thought it was multiple people. Totally, to have it be all from you was really jarring. And then it also was this thing where I was like, okay, well, that thing where you want to put your phone on Do Not Disturb, but now it feels like I'm literally being like, George, shut the fuck up.
Totally.
It feels very pointed in a way that is impolite, I find, right. But I don't know how to I wish there was a quieter Do Not Disturb where it doesn't put the little symbol that's like, Sam is not receiving text now. Because he was receiving text 30 seconds ago, and now that he saw all mine, he doesn't really feel like it anymore.
Well, the Do Not Disturb thing, I mean, this goes back to the fact that obviously we are all being controlled by, I would say, approximately 3 different tech CEOs. And the fact that we can't further... we are led to believe that we have all this power over how we personalize our technology, but there's no way for you to put your phone on Do Not Disturb without me being notified. That's insane.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's like how you can't do away messages. It's like, so this is a technology we figured out literally decades ago, but we're not allowed to do it now because if we did, then we would be on our phones less. And Mark Zuckerberg would make less money.
Yeah. How about you publish that New York Times daily briefing?
They're afraid. You know what the New York Times did publish this week, actually, which I really wanted to talk about? Okay, so I promise I'm going somewhere with this. You know the meme that's like, men, think about the Roman Empire, okay? All right, everyone knows it. Ha ha ha, hilarious. Okay. So the New York Times, I swear to God, in the art section of the New York Times, published an article that's like, what do women think about?
I saw that. I almost clicked it.
It's actually crazy.
What was it? What was the
Because
answer?
we've now gotten to a point where it's almost like there's no delineating between something that is humor writing and something that is not humor writing, in the way that actually makes it almost misinformation. Because it's like when I read something in the art section of the New York Times where I expect it to be like a review of a new retrospective of some artist at MoMA, and instead I'm reading that someone is sort of like cheekily referring to an online meme, I'm like, well, now suddenly I'm a Republican and it's your fault.
I hate when they turn
that shouldn't be in the arts. Like, at the very least, put it in the style section.
Sure.
But mostly, don't put it in the New York Times.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I fully agree. And also, I just want to say, I saw someone tweet about this, but it is like the way that we're like, gender doesn't exist anymore. Shut the fuck up. And then now it's like girl dinner, boy dinner.
Literally.
Girl thought, it's crazy. Boy thought. It's like we're actually regressing in such a gigantic way.
It is so, okay, it is actually so crazy. Like the end point of meme culture and also like meme reporting, like sort of like journalists being like winky about a meme. The end point of it is literally someone, a man, by the way, in the pages of the New York Times literally being like, what do women even think about? Like, we have fully circled back to just being like actually stupid and politically conservative.
I mean, we do have to, I think, if we're being journalists, if we're truly seeking truth, I think we need to address our role in it as well. Because, we host a podcast about, what is straight versus what is gay.
What do gay people do? What do straight people do? Of course. Well, of course,
and that has actually led us to enforcing binaries in a way that many would call toxic. Not our fans, of course.
No, they will call it intelligent, highly so.
Yeah,
but yes, we have,
and even we have to address this is our first recording since finishing tour, and on tour there were moments when we were literally just like, well, women like this and men like this. We were reinforcing it in such a hard way.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit recently, but someone brought in the topic wineries, and we very easily and very quickly were like, okay, so let's see. Wineries are girls and breweries are boys. What else?
Yeah. So we are part of the problem.
But to be clear, this is what I'm talking about in terms of context collapse. You're pressing play on us. We're talking two comedian identified individuals. We're talking a cheeky podcast cover where we're pretending to be scientists. You know what you're getting. When I open the New York Times, if they're not reporting on the war in Ukraine, I'm calling the police.
Who I don't support, by the way.
But that's what I'm saying. They're making me conservative. They're making me politically conservative by reporting on memes poorly in the art section.
Yeah, I'm all in. I mean, as soon as you pull out the words context collapse, I'm like, here he goes. Ring the alarm.
Honestly, ring the context collapse alarm. And if there was a context collapse alarm, I would be ringing it so much that it would be broken, and I would have to buy a new one at Amazon. And guess what? Then I would be politically conservative again because I'd be supporting Jeff Bezos.
Oh, well, I want to share something quickly.
Okay.
Which is that today I finally finished watching Seinfeld.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm done.
Should we bring in our guest to respond?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, great. All right, please put your hands together for Demi Adejuyigbe, everybody.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great. I've never seen Seinfeld.
Wow. See, I was just like you maybe 1 year ago.
And can I say something? I also haven't seen. Well, I once tried to start watching it, and I was just like not in the right mood. And also, here's the thing with me on Seinfeld, and I've said this before. I start Seinfeld, I just get a craving for Curb. And I go and watch Curb.
Fair.
Demi, what's been holding you back from the Seinfeld consumption?
I think I'm bad at watching any TV show that isn't currently going on, because then I'm like, well, if I'm watching something, if I'm using my time for Seinfeld, then there's going to be something that everyone's watching and there's a conversation happening there that I'm missing out on, because I got to catch up on a 30-year-old conversation that has been totally turned into a million other TV shows. And also, I'm just like, well, I'm just sitting on my couch alone being like, huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels a little like I got to really make the time for it, and why Seinfeld over anything else.
This is something I go back and forth on. Are you someone that really values being part of a current conversation?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll watch trash just because I'm like, oh, well, everyone's watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. I do this a lot, and actually I think Misha gets mad at me. My boyfriend, he hates when I'm like that I only want to watch stuff because everyone's talking about it, and I'm like, but why else would you want to watch something?
Yeah, I think it's very communal. It's like when a really shitty movie comes out and all your friends are going, and you're like, okay, I'll go opening night, whatever.
Totally.
Now you've seen all of the Marvel movies.
It's also important to go opening night, because then you are poisoned with what other people are saying, and you can't actually form your own opinion.
Yeah. True. When there's when I have a notable event, I'm like, okay, I have to see the movie that everyone's talking about before I go to the event. Because if I don't see the movie, I will be left out of countless conversations, which actually that thought is very Seinfeldian.
But I wouldn't know. We wouldn't know.
Yeah, we wouldn't know. All I know is that I often have moments of being like George Costanza, according to Sam. And so that is my way in to the Seinfeld universe.
I mean, to be the one person on the call who has the Seinfeld knowledge is actually crazy, because for all of my life I've been the person who was like, yeah, I have no idea, I guess I just am different.
Yeah, totally.
So now I'm like, I feel mainstream, I feel middle-aged, I feel like I work in corporate America in Ohio, and it makes me feel like I've lost all of my edge.
I feel like you sound powerful.
Yeah, I think
Really?
you sound powerful too. Also, I want to know, what is your review of Seinfeld in one sentence?
This show is so damn good. You guys have got to check it out. I mean, let's literally start the conversation now, because no one's talking about this show.
Who is your MVP?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, George Costanza, I am beyond obsessed with. I think the best thing I've ever seen. I mean, and obviously Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld himself, to use the language of the current day, they ate him the fuck up. It's really like, damn, they are wiping the floor with this man, these other performers.
It's so incredible to be the not the worst part. I don't want to put that, but to be the least compelling part of a show that is about yourself, that you are the star of, and that is shaped around clips of your own stand-up comedy.
I feel like that happens so much though, where it's like a show is sold around like, hey, it's this person, then everyone's like, we love the roommates. Right?
Totally.
Yeah,
that's New Girl.
It's New Girl. Yeah.
Which
yeah,
I've never
literally
seen.
in New Girl. Oh well.
Oh, you
guess what? I have.
Okay, you guys are against me. I'm feeling so alternative this episode.
Well, New Girl is a great example because the guys are also sort of annoying, but then everyone's like, "Fuck her! She has bangs. Who does she think she is?"
Yeah, there's like, she's too quirky.
Yeah,
ukulele lady. It's like, well, once maybe, but
yeah.
Anyway, TV is so good.
TV
so true.
is so good,
true.
except when I'll say it's bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah. If you're gonna count the bad ones too,
Right.
Yeah, that's tough, because when there's good TV, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, sometimes I'm even crying. But when there's bad TV, I'm feeling nothing except potentially anger.
Mm-hmm.
When it's bad TV, I'm logging on and being like, this show sucks, and then I'm like, what, season 2? How? I guess I'll continue watching it all.
Demi, have you ever opted out of the conversation for something that was so bad, and if so, what was the thing?
I honestly no, and that's the problem. I will opt out like way too late, or I'll just be like, I'm on season 9 of How I Met Your Mother, just because I started it and I have to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever opt out of a show, I'll opt out of the conversation, where it's like, I watched Orange is the New Black for so long, and then just was like, I think a season just came around and I just didn't watch it, and then it's like, well, I can't then now be like, I'll still see what they're saying. So it's like,
yeah,
I think my problem is when I start a season of a show, I will finish it.
That's a tough, you have good follow through, but sometimes it's a curse as well as a blessing.
It goes on my to-do list. It starts to feel like, well, I gotta answer my emails and I have to finish this show, and I know that's not how it's supposed to be, but what are you gonna do?
Hey, you're in the biz. It's work, sweetheart.
It's tax
Put these on my
deductible.
taxes.
Yeah.
I get paid by the hour when I watch TV.
Oh, when
research.
when I log something on Letterboxd, that's my savings account.
Yeah, I'm telling everybody, it's like, oh, well, I ate a pizza, and you can see that in the Letterboxd post, so that's going on the taxes.
I had to bail on Emily in Paris. It was pissing me off so much. I couldn't, even though everyone talks about it and everyone makes stupid memes about it, I had to get out of there. It was
Whereas
making my
I'm
brain
still
rot.
watching.
The thing is, like, with Emily in Paris, it's everyone that talks about it and loves it hates it. And it's just like, I couldn't start it because I was like, I see what's happening here, and I think I would just make me upset.
Demi, I'm telling you have to watch the show.
No, I do not. No, I do not. I can't do it. I'm good.
Okay, did you watch And Just Like That?
That's what I was about to bring up too.
I watched the first episode and was so mad.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
At the time was dating someone who was just like, oh, you don't get it. You didn't love the original show. And I was like, I did. I liked the original show just fine. And so I was like, I'll stick around and see this. And then just genuinely was like, this sucks. This really isn't fun. And by the end of it, she was just kind of like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to watch any more episodes of that. But
yeah. You know what I think it is I sort of, with Emily in Paris and with And Just Like That, I actually really can watch them because because they are just bad. I think what I struggle with is things that are medium, where I get so frustrated when I'm like, this is just someone going through the motions of making prestige TV, but it does not like add up to more than the sum of its parts, and I can't even have fun with it. Like
when there's like potential. Also.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
You could have tried and done something here.
Exactly. And so that is why I don't even, I'm sure there are shows that would be good. Like, for instance, I bet you if I were to watch Yellow Jackets, I'd probably like it. But that rang my alarms where I was like, something about this, it's probably not as good as the actual good shows, but it's not as bad as the bad shows. And I can't even like invest in this.
That's a great example.
Like, Showtime.
Exactly. Well, yes, which is a whole other thing.
Yeah. I don't, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but Yellow Jackets is so flop. People are going to be so mad at me. People are going to hate me for saying this, but I'm like, I literally feel gaslit by all of the internet for people being like, I can't wait to see what happens. And it's like, I don't need to know.
Well, there should be consultants that go into middlebrow shows and either make them good or make them bad. Like, I think everything should either be good or bad, and there should be no middle class in terms of quality.
I feel like there are consultants that do that. They're just execs, and sometimes they're ignored.
But don't you think, though, that execs...
I think they bring it to the middle.
Exactly. Their job, that is the thing. I think execs' job is to bring it to the middle. They take something that's genius and like defang it, and they take something that's bad and, okay, they'll add a few little things here and there just to make it airable. Whereas I think we actually need the opposite.
You have to remember that, like, because there's so much hype around certain shows, and I'm just like, whoa, people really love this. And I'm just like, I don't know how old anyone is online. That's part of it, right?
Yeah, yes, that's definitely part of it.
I do think often the hype is teenagers and even preteens. And I just think we underestimate how much people know one another, and it's often literally people supporting their own friends.
Yes.
Speaking of context collapse, I think this is, okay, ready for this big idea? The only context I actually want on the internet is age. I think when I am on Instagram, I should be shown people 5 years older and 5 years younger, and that's it. And when I'm on Twitter, I want 5 years older, 5 years younger, that's it.
I want to see what other opinions this person has. Like when someone's like mean to me or something, I'm always just like, I don't care if you like me. I need like references of what your taste is to know if this should hurt my feelings or not. Because if they're like, hey man, I think you're a fucking idiot, and it's like some of my other favorite shows are fucking like, I'm really loving Foundation on Apple Plus. I'm like, no one's watching. I don't know what that means. I don't care about your taste.
Yeah.
Who are you?
The government should rank everyone's taste level so we can know. Absolutely. There should be a Rotten Tomatoes for every single person, essentially.
Someone who's like, I'm just starting The Office and it's the funniest show in the world. I'm like, that's fine. I don't need your opinion on me.
Well, I did just watch Seinfeld, and it's the funniest show in the world. Yeah, go ahead.
There should be like a sort of clout score for someone's taste level.
Yeah.
Or even, you know what it is? It's like, because I don't want it to be, obviously these things are subjective. So it's not necessarily like from 0 to 100, but it's more of like a Myers-Briggs personality type, but for taste.
Yeah. We're just recreating astrology now. It's like, oh, okay, well, this person's this type of person. Totally. I don't care what any of you
know what,
think.
though? I actually think, okay, so astrology, Myers-Briggs, all that is like personality. I actually think it would be more useful and potentially more doable to have something like that for taste level, because that is more objective. And actually, you wouldn't lie. Like, when I take a Myers-Briggs test, you better believe I'm lying for every question.
Oh, yeah. I'm a leader? Yeah, okay.
Literally. I'm like, I have a great work ethic.
My friends can absolutely depend on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, you're really pointing to something. Those tests, I always feel I need someone else. I need an outside person to tell me what I am at all times. Because if I'm taking a test, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I want to be this. How much am I being aspirational when I do this?
Exactly. And also, it's like all of that literally hinges on people having self-knowledge, which, guess what? Famously, no one does.
Yeah, that's why we're taking tests.
Yeah, that's why we're all yeah, by the way, if you're trying to take a test to figure out who you are, you should not be trusted with answering questions about yourself.
Wow. Damn. We're really getting to something here. We want to break down walls. We want to break down boxes, but at the same time, we want everyone to have a government issued score.
We're getting conservative again.
It's tough. We can't decide if we want to be completely free and anarchist or completely Republican.
I know it's true. I mean, I struggle also with government mandated because on the one hand, of course, I would want it to be public sector. I mean, I don't want Warner Media in charge of everyone's taste level scores. But then do I want...
Then they're going to gas it up.
They're going to gas it up, but then do I want...
Everybody loves Barbie.
Exactly.
Everybody loves Barbie.
Yeah, literally. But then do I want, Pete Buttigieg in charge? No, not quite. There needs to be a third thing. You know how public sector, private sector, we need a third thing.
Church.
and it goes back to my point that I always bring up that we lost religion and didn't replace it with anything else, and that is why we're suffering.
We need religious leaders.
New religions. We just need new religions.
We need new religions. Yeah.
Ones that aren't about like what happens after you die. It's just like, here's how you should be right now, and the reason why is we'll tell you later.
Damn. I'm relaxed just thinking about it. I mean,
right?
God, the way that I need something to do every Sunday morning cannot be overstated.
Wow. That's true.
Like, imagine if you just knew that every Sunday you woke up and went to a place of congregation.
Yeah.
I mean, they
like
really...
Denny's.
Yeah, exactly. They really did, fumble the bag by not making church really fun, because they could have easily made it fun, and then we would have all that's a perfect time to go hang out with everyone in your squad.
They fucked it up by going, all right, now after all the songs and stuff, I'll tell you a story. It's like, well, just skip this part. Just sort of be like, pretty fun to be here, right? All right, I'll see y'all later. I don't need a lesson.
Yeah, drinks are in the fridge. Help yourself to whatever. The church is open for the next 6 hours. And I'm not looking. That would be incredible.
And please give it up for Haim. Should we do our first segment?
I think that's a great idea. Demi, our first segment is called Straight Shooters, and in this segment, we ask our guest a series of rapid-fire questions. There's basically this thing or this other thing, and it is to gauge your familiarity with and complicity in straight culture. The only rule is you can't ask a single follow-up question, or we will fucking quit podcasting forever. Our hundreds of millions of fans will point to you as the person that made us stop.
and you're gonna feel confused as soon as the questions start, and we want you to sit with that.
Can I
hear a question coming.
That sounds like a question.
Oh no, okay, all right. Wow.
Demi?
It's begun. All right, no, I'm ready. Hey, I'm ready.
Demi, resorting to cliche or cavorting on Saint-Tropez?
Cavorting on Saint-Tropez.
Okay, Demi. Life and Beth or Shaun of the Dead?
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, Fuckboy Island or Gay Guy Friday?
I don't even know what Gay Guy Friday is. I gotta go Fuckboy Island.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, believing in Kismet or being called cishet?
Believing in Kismet.
That was a good one, Sam. Okay.
Thank you.
Losing My Religion by R.E.M. or Renovating My Kitchen in a Neutral Creme?
Renovate my kitchen in neutral creme.
You gotta go creme.
Those tones.
Oh, yeah. Okay, polyamory or Polly Pocket?
Polly Pocket.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and finally, Needing Some Ice from the Kitchen or Reading Inherent Vice by Thomas Pynchon?
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Needing some ice from the kitchen.
Okay, and jumping off a cliff or hopping in a lift?
I'm gonna hop in that lift, baby.
Wow. All right.
You gotta.
Well, Demi, we rank every guest performance on a scale of 0 to 1,000 doves. I have to say, I feel like that was a very good performance. What do you think, Sam?
I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
I would go 922 doves.
I agree.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did that feel for you, Demi?
That was very stressful. And there were times where I saw my life flash before my eyes. I was just like, there's one I should pick, and then there's one that is the real me.
Of course.
And sometimes I just, close my eyes and let God take the wheel.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of basically how I feel like people should do this game. I mean, this game, or this segment rather, is essentially a way to dom our guests. We are not giving you the rules, and we're not even letting you be the funny one because we're the ones reading little things that we wrote.
Right.
There is literally no way to. There's no way to come out on top.
It's kind of like an Enneagram. It's like a Myers-Briggs, except I don't know what I've done.
Yeah. Wait, it is actually sort of a Myers-Briggs. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, damn. They should put this in
They should put this in books.
in books.
You guys should start a church.
I would love to.
I would love to start a church.
Oh, well, never. Well, you said that, and you have to be reluctant to start the church. That's the part.
Oh, yeah.
I hate
you gotta
when you
be like,
I hate when you Willy Wonka us.
Yeah, well.
I hate when I have to return it in order to get it. Well, should we get into the topic?
I think there's no reason not to.
Demi, what topic have you brought for us today?
Today, I brought to you the straight topic of crosswords.
And what about that feels straight to you?
Crosswords, I think, are inherently a conservative thing. And I also think if we're going to get really into it, I think puzzles as a whole are very conservative. I think they present the idea of a puzzle, but there is, or of a thing to be solved, but there is one answer. It's very rigid. It's presented in an artful way that makes you think like, I'm engaging my brain. But it's like, no, there's little hints as to a culture over here, but really there is one answer. There is a right answer. If you are wrong, you are only respected if you do it in pen. You can't. There's no like fluidity to it. It's just very here's the right thing, and there is no other. It's not even a binary thing. It's a single concept. Totally. But at the same, and honestly, that is sometimes very comforting to me to just be like, I don't have to figure this out. There is a right answer. I don't know what the capital of Yemen is, but if I answer these other three, it'll tell me. It's
I'm
like
about
math.
to find out. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean, the educational element, it's sort of, toxic productivity culture where it's like, there's always something about like, I'm going to be learning. I have this theory that I think straight people are always wanting to win the next argument. And like in their free, like, that's why like history podcasts are like straight coded. So it's like, so that I can like spew this stuff and I'll never be wrong again.
Oh, fully.
And I think a crossword.
I learned the capital of a place. I'm thinking about the next time I can tell a story and just name drop the city and just be like, don't ask any follow up questions.
Totally.
I will not have anything else to say besides this city does exist.
Also, this obsession with basically collecting trivia points. It's like a way to boost your own self-worth to be like, well, I know 15 more facts than you do.
That's right.
And therefore, my vote should matter more.
And then you win.
Yeah. Do you think the government should give 2 votes to people who are good at crosswords?
No, because that's a very slippery slope. Only because I think you got to define good at crosswords as who can complete what day. Because I think once you get past the Wednesdays, it's like, all right, that's actually difficult. But some people can do a Wednesday on a good day, and some people can be like, oh, I'm gonna Google the answers to these. I met someone once who was just like, oh, when you don't know the answer to a crossword puzzle, you just Google it because that's how you learn. And I was like, okay, that feels like not the point though. So what are we? Because then how do you prove to yourself that you're a genius if you're Googling? If you're
that's one of the darker things I've ever heard.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't talk to that person no more.
Yeah, you got to cut them out of your life. They're toxic.
You have to. They're very toxic. And I don't believe anything they say because I'm just like, well, oh, did you Google that, Shannon? Is that where that came from? You didn't know it? You just Googled it?
What is your relationship with crosswords? Do you participate?
I do one every day of my life. I have many books of crosswords.
Oh,
and
wow.
I will go to a coffee shop with one and sit in the corner silently and do 1 or 2 and then leave and then be like, wait a minute, was that weird? Does everyone at this coffee shop think, why is this guy here every day and he doesn't really talk to us? Why is he coming here at all? He could do this anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's because I got to get that brain big.
Yeah.
My entire life, I have been surrounded by crossword people. And I have never committed enough to figuring out how to be one myself. So every time I attempt it, by design, at first you feel stupid because you have to understand the rules, the recurring themes. There are sort of like little shortcuts that you learn. And I've just never learned any of those. So every time I try, like it makes me, once again, it proves to myself how stupid I am.
Sure. It is something so rigid, but still very, like, there are rules to it, but it's very exclusionary. It's very, like, you try to do it, and then you're like, oh, the person who wrote this is, like, getting clever with the clues.
Exactly.
And that's the art of it. Like, making the crossword puzzle is the thing that is, like, this is fun. And then it's like, well, now someone else is just going like, oh, I did it. It's like kind of when you like bake a cake and it's like, oh, you've made this personal thing. You've put your flair in it, and then eating it, there's no talent in eating it. It's just you're done.
Yeah, it's also like an architect designing a building with like a billion trapdoors and like some beautiful but very not user-friendly exterior. And he's like, wow, look at this. I'm so talented. And you're like, okay, well, how do I get to conference room C?
Yeah. It's like have you ever been to the upside down Ripley's Believe It or Not house in like Orlando?
Yeah.
No, I've never been.
That's a crossword puzzle. It's just, it looks like, I think, like a Greek building, but if it were built upside down, it's supposed to be like, oh, pretty kooky. But then you go inside and you're like, oh, it's just regular.
Oh, now that I don't like.
I don't like it at all.
That
pisses me off.
It better be upside down when I get inside.
I should have to climb to go pee.
I'm begging you. Let me climb to go pee. That's what makes you special.
Yeah. I thought an earthquake happened there the first time I saw it. I was like, that's crazy. We got to go see that. And then I walk inside and I'm like, oh, this is disappointing.
Damn.
This sucks. I'm 12 and this is the worst day of my life.
Yeah, I hate that. And when you're 12 and you have the worst day of your life, it hits harder. Because now you have the worst day of your life and you're like, sure, it's called Tuesday, sweetheart.
But I've had enough of these.
Yeah.
Wow. Demi, you describing going to a coffee shop and like having a coffee and doing your little crossword actually sounds so nice in a way that I'm finally understanding the appeal of a crossword. Like that to me is like, it's better than reading a book.
Yeah, no,
a little less focus.
And there's an end point. You are done with the crossword and you're like, okay, well, time to go. Right. There's no, I'll stop in the middle of this chapter.
Well, it is actually, I'm now realizing such a big part of the appeal probably is just the morning routine quality of it. Having something to do in the morning, which I'm like, okay, I guess my only thing really is sort of like reading. My only thing is reading I'll read like a morning newsletter, but that's not enough. It doesn't make you feel accomplished. You're like, okay, great. I read like 3 paragraphs.
There also just is a sense of play in a crossword puzzle that I do wish more of my life had, you know?
Sure. You gotta put it in there though. It's very old man coded, I think.
It's very old man coded.
Sense of play, but it's not really that playful or whimsical. So it's just something that it tricks you into thinking like, wow, what fun we're having. But then it's like, well, you sat and you solved a square.
Totally.
So
well, it's old man, and then it's also NPR tote, like brunch liberal who goes to live recordings of Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the straighter elements of it is the fetishization of being old.
Do you know? Yes. And also it's very like, it's very someone saying, because science.
Oh,
damn, you're being mean.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
There's something about it. Like there is just something that's very like, it's very like essentially fetishizing like intelligence.
Yes. I fully agree. And I do think it's that kind of thing where I think if I ever met the people who edit the crossword puzzles, I would be a little like, oh, you're not that interesting. You're not that funny. This is all, you just have knowledge that you toss out.
Can I tell you something? I actually know someone who does a lot of crossword stuff for the New Yorker.
Wow.
Will Shorts. It's Will Shorts.
One of the smartest. And she actually is very smart in real life. And I'm like, damn.
Oh, that's not fun.
So you're like the real deal and you're not faking it. So where does that leave me?
When people are the real deal, that can actually be extremely disappointing.
Yeah, wait, Sam, that is so true. Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh no, I'm actually just not good enough to be good at this.
I actually remember meeting this person. I mean, I've now known her for a few years. I remember meeting her. She's just like, you know, this sort of like wonderkind, like has been really smart from a young age and like went to, you know, grad school and is really like beautiful and young and also smart and also
love her.
I'm like, okay, wait, what? Yeah.
You changed Demi really didn't like her at first, and then by the end he really did like her.
No, I was like, wait.
You said beautiful. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. She's actually stunning randomly, and I'm like, wait a minute. So what? So you can just, not everyone is faking it. Basically, that's what it is. Like I think so many people in our lives, especially in entertainment, are complete frauds. And then you meet someone that actually is not faking it, and you're like, wait, I didn't know that was allowed. I thought they executed you anytime you had substance in this town.
You're just it's like, well, is there something that is off. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, there's got to be something wrong.
Need to, I describe it as like when you're playing an RPG and you max out all the sliders, and I'm just like, well, no, but because you don't have that much XP, so which one is off? Which one's down? Is your agility really low?
Yeah.
Can you not run?
Something's up. You sacrifice something to get to where you are.
Okay, I have an idea, which is in the same way that you should be able to see everyone's taste level and age, you should also be able to see like their one flaw, like their deadly flaw.
Okay, everyone share your one deadly flaw. Go.
Can't.
Mine is that I'm just such a perfectionist.
I was gonna say too tall, and then I was like, that's not true. I lie all the time.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one, actually.
Well, that wasn't real, but also,
I guess okay.
In saying that, it was kind of a lie. So now, where are we?
What mine? Now I'm really legitimately trying to think of what mine would be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like
people pleaser.
People pleaser. That's a good one. That's real.
I would say, I mean, I don't want to say work ethic because there are times in my life where I work very hard, but I think there are the times when I don't are so toxic. Like the times when I just am overcome by a certain type of laziness are so bad that I do think it really impacts my life, even though there can be months at a time when I'm like being really, productive or whatever.
I think that is a big reason I've gotten so into crosswords lately, is just because I like me going to the coffee shop and doing a crossword is like my job through the strike of just being like, I need to get the fuck out of my house and like have something that feels like work, so that now it's like, well, if I want to go to sleep, I have to make the trek home. So, but I'm hard to motivate.
So, okay, as someone who's not good at crosswords and has never quite cracked it, I have this very toxic defensive thing where I'm like, and I know this is me being defensive and me wanting to not admit that I just am not good at something. But here's my defensive thing is I'm like, well, those people just don't want to read books.
You're not wrong.
Like I'm literally like, well, literature is actually challenging your brain. And it's also like you're in this more nuanced brain space of where something is not always right or wrong. And you have to actually like, contend with your own morality and your own views and relate to different kinds of characters and blah, blah. And these people just want easy answers.
You are not wrong. I think a lot of it also is I want to feel engaged and like I'm doing something. It's like I need interactive something, or else I just wake up and like watch a movie. But when I watch a movie, sometimes I'm just sitting there like, the fuck? What? I don't want to sit here and just figure this out. So it's like I got to do something that it's like, well, I'm part of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be like really, really annoying, like 30-something millennial, but it is like not to be like adult coloring book, but there really is something to like holding a pen and marking on paper that I'm like, I'm using both hands. Like I'm actually engaged in a physical way, more so than like reading a book. Like I'm like, I do just want to be able to make the little marks. That does a lot for me.
More so than just doing one on my phone. There's something about it being very physical. Like there are times where someone comes into the coffee shop and it's just like, what's the Wi-Fi? And they're like, oh, we don't have Wi-Fi here. In my head, I'm just like, you guys, you still need Wi-Fi. I'm out here just enjoying life. I'm off the grid because my phone's face down 3 inches in front of me, but I'm off the grid.
Yeah. That is another part of it. You're right. Is that it's almost like there's this sort of analog vintage vinyl feeling about it. Like you're part of this rich cultural heritage.
I think it's like the like 30-something version of like the typewriter obsession.
Oh yeah.
You know what I want to when a coffee shop doesn't clearly state what their Wi-Fi is, I get so upset because it's like, people want that. Just post it. Don't make me ask. Don't make me feel stupid.
Yeah, don't be upset that I asked too. Like, it's like, oh, so annoying. I'm like, there's an easy fix. A very easy fix. Write it on a piece of paper.
It is wild. And I'm like, this is what coffee shops are for. People bring their computers and use them. It's okay.
Yeah. Right. Yes. This idea that it should be some sort of intellectual salon, you're like, no.
If anyone came up to me in a coffee shop and just wanted to start a conversation, I think I would also then call the cops. I'd just be like, what are you fucking trying to get from me? Like, I won't tell you my social.
A lot of things today are making us want to call the cops. We should all look inward about that.
Yeah, no. When my apartment is too hot, I'm ready to call the cops. No.
When I think a crime might happen, maybe. Well,
you
gotta
use your own mind to draw that conclusion.
you know what's happening there.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Okay, so wait, I also want to sort of touch a little bit on I would say, like, sort of crossword industrial complex, which to me encapsulates like the New York Times games and Wordle and like the new one that everyone I know is playing called Connections. And I do spelling bee sometimes. That's the only one I do. But it's like, it's really this like adult obsession with basically word games, individual word games.
You know what I think is behind this is the feeling of everyone wanting to be engaged in games that you know everyone is playing, but also wanting to feel mature about it. So it's like, oh, I can't do Zelda, or I can't do any of these things that feels like, but that's a kid's thing. I'm going to do this thing that is, it's based on words. It's like about language. And therefore it's me, like people will call them like they'll say brain games a lot. And I'm like, is it? Are we really like learning anything or like flexing a muscle or making ourselves smarter? I think it's just like, no, we just like the idea of phrasing it that way because it makes us feel smarter and less immature, which is fine.
I do feel about all of these games the same way that I feel about like the Real Housewives franchise, where it's like, now I've gone so long without them and everyone like knows all the nuances that I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to miss out on it. Like any new thing that comes out, people tweet about it for 4 months and then move on to the next one, and I'm just going to miss all of them.
Totally.
There is actually a way in which, so I'm thinking of something like Wordle where, you know, you share your score online and it's like these green and yellow squares or whatever. Okay, it starts out as you almost wanting to seem intelligent that you're doing something, but then it almost comes full circle where what you're actually tweeting is just like little colored squares. Like you actually seem even dumber than someone who's tweeting like, but first coffee, because all you're doing is like grunting into the void.
And also I remember there was a big thing about people being like, oh, if you get it on the first try, that's just luck. That's not impressive. You share it, I don't care. When you get it on the second try, that's when you're actually smart.
Yep.
And I was like, this is stupid. This is very silly. Just
also, guess what? You're literally guessing a word. There's no such thing as smart or stupid.
I think people are just like, well, because you get all the information on the first one, and then if you get it on the second one, that's just because you are a good logician or whatever. I'm like, all right, you're not really. Children do this, man.
Yeah.
And they're really good.
And they're really good at it. Well, they have all that free time.
Yeah. Schools need to be longer.
Oh, I'm always saying this.
They need to be 24 hours long.
Now that we're out of them, I think they should double them up.
Start earlier and later. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Get them up at 5. Get them out at 7 p.m. Of course.
No recess.
No recess.
No lunch.
No nap time. No recess.
And no classes. In fact, just use those sewing machines and make us new shirts.
I was literally was about to say, use those sewing machines.
You can sing songs if you want, but don't make them too loud, or Civeris is going to come in.
Yeah, and they better be classics from the American Songbook. I don't want to hear any new age songs going on over there.
This is part of the religion now.
Exactly. Yeah, they better be Christian songs.
Hymns only.
Hymns only. Yeah.
Yeah. But to be fair, I do. Yeah, it's tough because when I do play a Zelda, I am like, okay, this is for babies. Like I do enjoy it still, but I'm like, I feel like I'm dumbing myself down, even though they're very difficult still. But I'm like, this is for babies.
Totally. Well, I do think, again, to go back to my like defensive thing about books, there's a way in which literally like literature is the only thing that is firmly for adults, and you can hide behind it and be like, well, the fact that I'm here reading books, as long as they're not YA or genre, which is its own thing, I can even not be taking in anything I'm reading. But the fact that my face is behind a book, I can firmly be like, well, at least I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I don't think I'm an adult because I'll sit and read a book and just be like, this is going to take
I know,
me a year. I don't want to do this
totally.
at all. I have to find like the specific things that's like, oh, I'll read an Agatha Christie.
Totally. Yeah.
I'll remove the cover so everyone's just like, ooh, what's he reading?
When you're reading a book and then suddenly it actually does get difficult, you're like, what?
Oh my God.
Is this how I'm supposed to feel all the time? Like when I say I want to be challenged, but I'm lying, this is what I'm like allegedly saying I want?
I'm always it's so embarrassing, but I'm genuinely always so impressed when I know someone who's just constantly reading. I'm just like, now that's a man right there.
Totally.
That's a grown ass person.
Yeah. I okay, ready for my meme? Okay, follow this meme. It's the Hotline Bling meme, and the one, the first one he's saying no, and it's starting a book. The second one he's saying yes, and he's finishing the book.
Totally.
Because when I start a book, it's almost like starting to go for a long run or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's no way. Like there, like, look how long this is. There's already 4 characters. I've never met them before.
When a new character is introduced and you're like, I don't have the capacity for that. I don't know who Ezra is, and I never will.
I'm like, should I draw what they look like so that I can keep track of them? I need a picture book or something.
It's funny you say that. I feel like when we were all young, we did like, I remember especially being, I don't know, maybe like a preteen, teenager, I would like cast actors as I was reading the books, and like I felt like I was using my imagination. Now I'll read like She Had Blonde Hair and immediately forget it. I'm like, no, she's just a blob.
If I put a book down and pick it up like even a day later and there's like Lieutenant whatever, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like he's the second character we met.
Yeah. I wish every book needs a first, like, this book is about this.
You need the playbill at the front with like drawings of them.
Yeah, that would be so helpful. I mean, and don't even get me started on when a book has a map up top. I'm like, do I have to?
Absolutely not.
I will
Do you
probably
like
the
Family
book.
Tree?
I like to
Family
refer
Tree 'cause
back
it's
to
got
Family
photos.
Tree. Yeah.
I don't
can
like
be
map
helpful.
because that's them going, these 1,000 pages are going to cover a new world. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't have time for this. I haven't figured
No.
out where I live.
Exactly. I barely know
don't
how
know
to
my
get to the grocery store.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't known my parents' address for the last decade. Like, and now I'm supposed to know where the mountains of Morier are. Like, come on. But yeah, one day I will learn my parents' address.
Every time I finish a book, though, it does like, I'll bring it up in conversation as if to signal that I'm reading a book. And that's nice. Just being like,
That
just
is
finding
really
a way
nice.
to mention this book that I finished reading 6 months ago.
Oh my God. And that real sweet spot when you mention it on your podcast. Oh, the way that I finish a book and I'm like, oh, well, of course I have to mention the book I'm reading.
Yeah, you
And
got
it's
it.
like, wow, you gotta. I literally have a new like stand-up joke about a book I read and I'm like, this is gonna be good for me.
Damn, you're trying to get on wait, don't tell me.
Oh yeah, get me in there. I'm ready to play.
As soon as a comedian reads a book, they get an email from Wait, Don't Tell Me that's like, we're doing a show in Philly.
Talk about the wait, don't tell me industrial complex. It really feels like you're signing up for the Marines when you do one of those shows.
And by the way, I am so available and I want to do one.
I've done it a few times before.
You've done it a few
Oh,
times.
so you're
that's
signed
right.
up.
Done.
So you
I'm signed up. They haven't asked me in a while, so I'm like, oh, they know I'm not reading and dumb.
Yeah, they found out you're only doing crossword puzzles.
Yeah, and they're
Which
like, I thought he was an adult.
should be my way back in, I would think. But they're
Yes,
like,
that's
well,
very
no.
true. That's very true.
You can
That's a
sit
good
in the
point.
audience.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. Well,
I mean, sheesh. I'm like, I actually do feel like, unfortunately, we have fully covered.
yeah,
crossword
we've covered
puzzles.
so much. Demi,
Yeah, they're
any
not very dense.
final thoughts on crossword puzzles, on puzzles in general?
I love puzzles. I will say everyone I know who does puzzles like religiously is very gay, so I think they're going to be mad at me for coming on here and being like, puzzles are straight.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, there is something
Away.
about it. I mean, with all this stuff, with a lot of like, for lack of a better word, nerdy stuff, it's like we're talking like video games, Dungeons and Dragons, fantasy novels, whatever.
Yeah.
It's almost like at first glance they seem straight because you imagine like a nerdy guy, but then everyone who's actually into them is like polyamorous and LGBTQ plus.
Right, yeah. Well, you got to do something while your husband's off having their own adventures.
Exactly. Yeah.
Damn, that is true. That's a good way to refer to your husband going to hook up with someone else. Well, he's off on one of his little adventures.
Oh, he's doing a side quest if you don't.
He's at Mount Mordor.
He's
He's trying to mount Mordor.
He's trying to mount Mordor.
wow. He's never been this far from the Shire before. Let's just say that. Wow. I mean, yeah, I when you said crossword puzzles, I of course thought, well, that sounds pretty LGBTQ plus to me, but I said, this is not my place because I am not part of that culture. And so I can just jump in and say, they're straight. There you go.
I really respect that you decided I'm going to sit down and listen to the straight man and have him tell me what's straight. and what's not gay.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go straight to the source.
You gotta.
It's a
we
privilege.
find that to be really helpful. Yeah.
Sam, should we do our final segment? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I guess we could. Demi, our final segment is called Shoutouts. In the grand straight oral tradition of the radio shout out, we will shout out to anything that we enjoy. Sort of imagine it's 2001, you're at TRL shouting out to your squad back home, but about anything that you like. And George, this never happens to me. I'm so deeply prepared. Not like a script or anything, but I have one that I want to talk about.
It's all you.
And I don't know if I did say this on an old podcast, please don't get mad at me because I don't remember anything I say. As soon as we hit send on this, it leaves my brain. This is my journal. Okay, what's up, everyone around the world, freaks, losers, and yes, the perverts. I want to give a huge shout out to the Creed trilogy. I watch these movies whenever I'm on a plane, and I love it. I started these movies and I was like, I probably won't like these. I've never seen Rocky, but hey, let's hit play and see what happens. And every time I'm like, damn, that was the best movie of my entire life. I love these films. And when you're on an airplane, I feel like you can just be a different person because there are no laws up there. And when I'm on an airplane, what I am is a Creed fan, and I love boxing and I loved it my entire life. Sure, I've never seen it when I'm on land, but I don't need to because I see it in the sky in luxury in an aeroplane next to my closest stranger who is also my best friend in the sky. I love the Creed movies. I love Michael B. Jordan, and I love boxing sometimes. XOXO, Sam.
Woo! Damn, Sam, mine is also inspired by a plane movie.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, literally all both of us have been doing recently is being on planes, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but we've actually been on tour. We've actually been on tour, touring the nation, and even Canada.
We've been on tour for 1 month, and you'll be hearing about it for approximately 8 months.
Yeah,
so
it was a tour.
Buckle in and press play on Creed 3 because it's going to be a bumpy ride, doll. Okay, all right. What's up, hotties? That's right, I'm Megan Thee Stallion, and
wow.
I want to give a shout out to the actor Kevin Kline. I just rewatched A Fish Called Wanda on the plane, and also recently I watched In and Out for the first time ever, and we don't have a Kevin Kline anymore. They need to create a new Kevin. The people that created, Jacob Elordi and all these people that they're trying to shove down our throats, they need to create a new Kevin Kline, because this guy, he is sort of hot in an interesting way, great physical comedian, but also can go dramatic. Yeah, I've seen The Big Chill. He can do incredible things with his body. He can very convincingly play gay in a way that actually doesn't seem like he's mocking gay people, which is rare. He is charming. He is a leading man and a character actor. And he also, by the way, father to it's a very good sort of Nepo baby that I think is very talented on her own. And I just think he's really incredible, and we should bring back Kevin Kline as an ideal of an actor, and we should award the new Kevin Kline as much as we awarded the old one. And that's what I think. And thank you. And also, by the way, Jamie Lee Curtis, she really did a good job in A Fish Called Wanda as well. And John Cleese, I know he sucks now, but there's something there, unfortunately. And it pains me to say that, but you have to shout it out. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
Woo! I haven't seen any of those films. I need to get on a plane stat.
They're great movies.
I mean, A Fish Called Wanda is a classic, and I had seen that before. But In and Out, I've been hearing about my whole life, and I had never watched it. Incredible film.
Okay, Demi, whenever you are ready, if you have one in mind.
All right. Yeah, okay. What up, Playgirls and Playboys? I just want to thank y'all all so much for tuning in, and I really got to do a shout out to Talking Heads, because I've listened to so much of their music lately and have been seeing Stop Making Sense in theaters so many times now, and it's so fun to wear a big old suit to the theater with a bunch of nerds and start dancing and realize you're just sitting there watching a concert film, but everyone's so excited about it. And then also, I watched True Stories for like the 30th time the other day, and I was like, okay, David Byrne's cooking. I don't know why he only made one movie and then no other movie. And also, I just love how every one of their songs is just kind of going, isn't it so weird that a TV exists? Isn't it so weird that we use lamps? And I'm like, yeah, it is really weird.
It is.
But it never feels like it's making fun of it. It's just kind of going, isn't it strange to think about this? To think about what a car is? And I'm like, yeah, but what what a dancy way to say that. So, thank you to David Byrne and to his bandmates that apparently he was a real shithead to. But now that they're all older, they've sort of seemed to be over it. And that's also cool too, because there's nothing better than a reunion. So thank you for the drama.
Woo. Shout out. Woo.
That's huge.
Damn.
I mean,
okay, I need to, Sam, have you seen Stop Making Sense?
No, I want to go. Let's go.
Me too. When they bring it now it's only playing in like the Lincoln Center or something, but when they bring it closer to us, we are going.
Okay. Love
I can't
that.
wait.
All
right.
And shout out to Time for It Heals All Wounds.
Yeah, totally.
Sure
and also, I love that all three of our shout outs were film related. We are such film buffs, and catch us on Letterboxd.
Big old nerds.
Damn.
Yeah, I love that.
Demi, thank you so much for doing the pod. This was such a delight.
Yeah, this is really a treat.
I'm honored to be on here. I hope I've done a good service in presenting for the Straights. And
I think you absolutely have.
When our time comes, we will be spared.
Yeah. Well, at some point our listeners did tell us don't have any more straight male guests. And so you're the first one we've had in a while. And I think this one will actually change their minds for good.
Okay. They're like, all right, one was okay.
Yeah.
But don't let it keep happening.
Yeah, we don't even see sexuality. That's what's crazy about us.
No.
That's so progressive for a podcast about straight culture.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, fuck. We're bad at our jobs. No, okay. But, okay, thank you for real.
Okay. And shout out to the federal government. It's been a real motif tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
We love those guys.
We love those guys. Thanks, guys.
I can't wait to join the troops and start our new religion.
And I hope they get more involved in our lives, not less. Okay.
Yes. Bye.
Okay, bye.